symbols, whatever, and all.
Yes.
If you remember,
Well, you were way ahead.
said I can do all that stuff, but that samurai, the white samurai that was there when,
Mhm.
when you when you did my attunements for my Reiki master, he's popped up here now as well. So he's stepped forward. So yeah, I haven't seen
So
him for
you
quite
got the
some time.
samurai.
Yeah.
I've got now the shamans. I'm busy with shamans.
Awesome, man.
So I don't really know, what's happening, and I'm busy with crystals and under the ground and healings like that. I've been through quite a walk
Yeah.
the past year, exactly a year actually,
Yeah.
exactly a year, and yeah, lots of changes, lots of new things, um, but very exciting. And but as I said, getting back to the Reiki, I feel, I just want to go with my hands like this, just sort of and it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Not
think
the old way, not a slow, old, methodical way.
and this is really something that I've been speaking into a lot too recently, is that I guess we were always taught that there is these processes and things need to be harder, right? And
Yes.
and we're structured in a book or things like that. But actually energy is simple and it moves with intention, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if we are tuning into that energy on a higher frequency of like wanting to send whatever frequency and shift the energy, it goes with that. It's so simple, right? And it's
Yes.
really learning to take ourselves back to actually how powerful we are with such simplicity. Yeah.
That's why I'm so keen on knowing where I come from. We say just go ahead, move forward, day by day type of thing. But with me, I feel I want to know where I come from because that helps me know my capabilities.
Mm,
What I did do, and if I did it, I must be able to do it now as well, surely. With all
yay.
these what we've been doing and receiving and so on. And that's why I keep digging backwards to find out where was I, what all did I do, and hearing all about it. And yes, at the moment I'm very much um, lost, but at the same time, I know I'm on track, if you know what I mean. I'm
Mm-hmm.
lost in my little mind. Where am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing? And yet I know I am doing something. I'm working. There's something going on. I'm being used, but I'm not getting the um, full story. So
Yeah.
I suppose then I have to go day by day, don't I? I'm
we
not getting the full story. I know I'm being used, but I don't really know exactly how. So yeah.
I think it's trusting and feeling, right? There's so much that our mind wants clarity around, us, like knowing the answers always and knowing all the pieces to it. But it's actually like just trusting in what's there in that moment and what that feels like, right? Because I feel like there's so much that we try to put words to explain things when it's actually an essence of embodiment, right? And this is, yeah, my mind sometimes trips off with a little bit of the way we are imprinted with this sort of stuff. But yeah, I love that, it's and knowing where we've come from, right, is how we got to where we are today too. It's
Yes.
really beautiful, right? And it's honoring all those pieces, but not allowing ourselves to be anchored and stuck back there. It's allowing ourselves to become so much more expansive, right? Because the new age and the new energy and the new earth and all that is all about us co-creating with divine consciousness and knowing that we have that infinite power within us and that connection.
Hey,
Yes.
Stacey, how you go? You're on mute, girl.
Who's on mute? Gail.
Yeah.
Gail
I can,
Francis.
I
Yeah,
can,
what was
I can,
Maggie
I'll
coming
hit, ask
on?
her to, here we go, unmute. Let's see. Hang on, we'll see if I can unmute you, Gail. Ask to unmute you. Oh, sorry, I just accidentally did it again. She did it and I did it. Try again, Gail. I won't do it. You do it.
Here we are.
There you go.
Hello,
Lovely.
Gail.
Oh, hello. It's been a long time.
It
It
has been a
has.
long time, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I have seen Stacey a couple of times
Yes.
in between, yeah. How you going, Stacey?
I'm well, thanks. Yourself?
Good, can't complain, thank you.
So amazing, so amazing. We might give it just another minute or so for people to pop on. I know I had a few jumping in over the last couple of days, I guess people have just jumped on the link, and then it's like I see them popping up on my phone saying they're in the waiting room. I'm like, well, they're a few days early. Like they're super keen, right?
Okay.
It's keen.
Oh,
They're
they're
keen
keen.
as. I don't know how long they'd wait in the waiting room for though.
Well, I did
Yeah.
send Mary a message to say, are you, oh, see you soon. No, that's Craig. I sent Mary a message to say, are you coming on tonight? No, she hasn't seen my message yet.
Yeah.
And are most of you guys all in New Zealand?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, nice. Okay. I'm in
Different
Australia on the Gold Coast, so
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
yeah.
different parts of the country. Go, where are you? You were down south. Are you back in the North Island?
Sorry, you
Are you
talking?
back in the North Island?
No, not yet. It's not far off.
Okay, good.
Very exciting.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah, Kelli was just saying it's a powerful time at the moment. You know, there's a lot of shifts coming.
Some massive shifts. It actually all starts today, right? We go from today, which is the 14th of April, we go, I think, till about the 15th of July, where all energy is moving forward. And so we've come out of that retrograde energy and all those energies that were going backwards. But this month is quite significant for people actually really stepping into a lot more of that new timeline, new earth energy, higher frequencies. So that even knowing we're in a positive energy, people are going to really sort of see, I guess, some of the energies that have been blocking them come to the surface just to finally be cleared. And I think it's really about how do we just remember that it's so easy to do with intention, right? If we actually understand that that's the frequency, it's just there to be witnessed and let go of so fast. So that we can all level up and move forward without those things kind of pulling us backwards over and over again. So it's actually quite an exciting time that we're moving into at the moment. Great time to launch any new business things or any contracts that you want to do, whether it's, you know, finance or whatever, like any agreements. It's really great energy right now. You'll get a lot more positive results moving forward with the way that the stars and planets and all that are. So yeah,
Okay.
till the 15th of, I think it's 15th of July.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Great.
So definitely use that. All right, well, let's get started, I think. You ready, Craig?
Yeah.
Always ready.
I was born ready.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, that he
Me
was.
too. Me too. Yeah, exciting. Well, so I'm super excited to have you here today too, Craig, because you're one of the first that it's been a few years since I've done collaboration pieces individually with people, and I was honored to have you as one of my first people to share our magic with, right? Because you've got so many amazing gifts. I'm sure a lot of the people here really know a lot more about you and what you offer and your amazingness. I'll let you, of course, share, but I think they already know, but I'll let you share a bit more about who you are and what you do, so that when we share this into other platforms, everyone else gets to know you too, so that they can, yeah, see your amazingness, right? So yeah, let us know.
Okay, well, let's say I'm originally from South Africa. Did my Reiki 1, 2, and 3 over there. And when I did that, my gifts just opened up, just like out of nowhere, like a Pandora's box, you know. I'd always been kind of open to that sort of stuff. I went to Reiki healing for myself, and this lady said, why don't you come along? We're doing a course, you know. I said, oh, I'll give it a go. And as we went through this course over the 3 months, I started to see things that I knew I couldn't possibly know. You know, my gift just opened up. So it was always there. And it's always very encouraging for me with anyone that I deal with, because I didn't have those gifts. They were always there, but I wasn't aware of them until a later stage in my life, and they just opened up. So it shows that kind of any one of us has those gifts there. So I started doing Reiki on horses as a start, working on animals, and then I started working on people. Came to New Zealand 9 years ago, coming for 10 years ago now, I think. Started doing Reiki here. A lot of the people that are on here know me from that. Then I did my Reiki Masters in 2020, I think, during lockdown around that time with Cheryl, who's on here, down in Auckland. Did that. I'm a medical intuitive, probably my main thing. I did a course with Tina Zion from America. And the intuitive side is really what I connect to. Reiki is just, for me, a tool for my guides to know, like, the energy center chakras. Left is past, right is future, left is feminine, right is masculine. It's for me, it's just it's a guideline for my guides to show me when the hand stops in a certain part of the body. The Reiki's help me to get that messaging from my guide. So Reiki Master is what I am, medical intuitive, but more than anything, I'm an intuitive healer. I don't really prepare myself for anything before. I just allow myself to be guided. Sometimes I'll get intuition and things before the healing. Something will pop up to me and I just know and I write it down. Client will come and see me and I'll start to talk and I say, I won't believe I actually wrote that down this morning. So I'm very much an intuitive healer, and I do mind, body, and spirit. So I do a lot of healing, physical pain, but of course emotional and past traumas is the big thing. And what's really shifted for me in these last couple of months, Kelly, I can't remember when I started this course with you, 4 or 5 months ago, whatever it was, is I've kind of moved from that third dimension, and we were chatting a little bit, Cheryl, beforehand, that third dimensional structured, which I've never been, but that's kind of what we tend to follow. And I've moved into a fifth dimensional understanding and really connecting into my heart.
Yeah.
And not trying to figure anything out, I'm just allowing it to flow. And I've always done that, but just with you, Kelly, pointing that out to me, I'm now sitting in that fifth dimensional mindset with my healing a lot more. And I'm trusting it 100%. I know I don't need to know what's going on. I know that when people get to the end of my healing, they are just feeling great, And as I say, I think mostly in this group I've done healings for, we've done sort of group things together mostly. And I'm just really blessed to have the gifts that I have. And what I'm looking at doing, as we all are, is to change the entire world. And what I've come to realize more and more over the last few years, but certainly in the last while in particular, that we don't have to say a single word. It's coming from our hearts. It's just getting our vibration in the right place. And I just listening to something last night, and I have Arcturian guides. For those of you that are open to extraterrestrials and whatever, I have Arcturian guides. And our girl is very strongly connected to that. Does light language. We've done a lot of stuff together with light language and the Arcturians. And I got a message from them last night, just chatting about Tesla, and saying that he was actually an Arcturian. Yeah, and so I got the message that he was Arcturian, and that he figured out the 0 point technology, but not the third dimensional technology. They were saying that 0 point, when you can get that into your heart, and that 0 point where you're completely just balanced and everything vibrates at a cosmic level, that's where the magic happens. And I've been doing that subconsciously, but I'm now aware, and I'm now wanting to get to that 0 point within my spiritual self. And I think that's what we're going to look to do tonight with Kelly's guidance, is that fifth dimensional 0 point where there's no expectation and the magic happens. That's
I
kind
love
of
it.
in a nutshell, yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, you and me definitely speak a lot of the same sort of language, right? And that's a big piece around what's happening now, is moving us out of, I mean, we've got so much polarity and duality in our world, but that center point is where we find just a deep sense of trust and knowing, where we can actually access the infinite peace that's within us, right? Because that's within the heart. It's there. It's always radiating in a beautiful energy. So I really love that. And it's all about the collective rising, right? This is the time of the Great Awakening. It's the time where we've moved into the Aquarian age. It's the time where we're actually supposed to shift out of that lower vibrational consciousness that's been existing in Earth for such a long time, where we were really limited by, one society, but even our nervous systems, there's going to be some massive shifts and upgrades that will happen. And when my guides told me this, they said it's not going to be just in this one lifetime, like it'll be a couple of generations, because so many people are born with such a overactive sympathetic nervous system, right? So they're in polarity. They're bouncing from one thing to the other and always in survival, and never actually trusting like that what they, trusting in themselves, but in their intuition. There's just no space for that, even still in the schooling systems, right? But there'll be some massive shifts that we're going to see over the next short period of time, in our lifetimes, especially, where we'll see big shifts in the way that these things are brought into the world, and for the children that need it more and more so, you know, and each one of us as healers, and like yourself, Craig, that, you know, when I talk about us getting into 5D and into abundance, but aligned to our values and trusting in ourselves, right? So we're living a life that we never want to escape from, and knowing that we're fully going to be supported when we're just living from a place of we're doing this because we love it, and we will get valued and rewarded in so many ways, not just because we love it, but people will want us to share these gifts because people want change. People are desiring a better way, a different lifestyle, you know, where we're not, you know, crushing this 9 to 5 all the time and juggling 20 things and having to trade the things that we love the most for just to put food on our table, right? It's like people are now going, okay, there's got to be a different way, and there is, but we've just never been allowed to have that because, you know, we were taught to not ever trust those pieces of ourselves, right? So it's beautiful. There's so much coming forward for all of us, and I'm really excited about that. I guess I should give a bit of an intro into myself because some of you guys don't know who I am. Craig knows me quite well. I think, Craig, we met originally, I think it was in the middle of the lockdown too. I think it was when I was doing that big summit, yeah. The New Earth Elders, I think the one that blew up and was like 80,000 people in a weekend that joined this collective summit, and I was in there sharing, and I think, Craig, you were in there as well, and that's how we ended up connecting, yeah?
Yeah, I was the session before you. It was like hour sessions, and I was before you, and then I was so hyped up, and I thought I better watch the next thing, and that was you. So it was during lockdown, right? So it's 5 years ago.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'm Kelli Hurley, and I'm the founder of Energetically Inspired, and I've been an energy healer for 14 years now. Though I've always been claircognitive, highly intuitive, though I did shut a lot of that down as a child because I wanted to fit into society and didn't, you know, we speak things and people looked at adults would look at me and think, how does she know that? What is she talking about? You know, and it scared a lot of people, and I didn't want to. I wanted to be accepted, right? I just wanted to be liked, and I wanted to fit in, and I wanted friends. You know, my mum was always very open to it, but I still had to journey through my own humanness, right? So yeah, so I guess it wasn't till my 20s that I started to actually tune back into understanding actually how intuitive I was, and then actually originally was a vet nurse, and I actually did it to communicate with the animals, and that made me realize when I had to do 50 animals to get my certificate how much I was actually seeing and picking up through a photo, and it sort of evolved from there. A lot of my Reiki, I was started as animals as well. And then I had my son who was extremely sensitive, and I needed to adapt energetic processes to even just protect him. And my whole journey has evolved. I mean, since Craig has even known me in the last sort of 5 or 6 years, a lot of my healing work came through my dark night of the soul, where, you know, most mystics go through this experience, right? It's where we anchor into that energy from above and strip away everything that doesn't serve us anymore. And yeah, in my experience, I went through it. There was a lot of abuse and a lot of things that went on in my world that I had to work through my nervous system and understand how it was limiting me and controlling me, and how to actually tune into my powers and my gifts, and choosing a life that was so aligned to having 2 little boys that needed their mom, and I wasn't going to give up you know, being there for them to go back to a 9 to 5 job. So I was like, okay, I'm going to embrace this and actually choose this. And the more and more the universe, the more I trusted, the more that the universe just kept showing me and gifting me and allowing me. So myself, yeah, it's been a huge journey for me, and doing it for over 10 years, and I've worked on thousands of people. You know, I've been blending Reiki and lots of modalities like theta healing, diamond light activation, vibrational medicine. You know, I've got so many modalities, and I kind of uniquely blended them now together, depending on the client, and again, working very intuitive as well as to what they need. I also work mentoring a lot of soul entrepreneurs as well, allowing them how to actually anchor into higher vibrational states of being in their business, right? Because a lot of business structures are still built in 3D systems, very low and dense frequencies. So it's limiting a lot of healers to actually be able to show their gifts, because their businesses they're getting taught systems that are actually pulling them out of vibration and pulling them out of their intuitive trust and basically blocking them from loving what they do, you know. Myself, I've reached like the top 3 energy healers on Google, and been in 2 collaborated books as well. So I've done lots of stuff, but I don't like just to keep blowing on my own little horn here. Though we're here to, you know, share some stuff. And I think it's really important that, you know, I love talking about, I know, Craig, you said originally you went and did Reiki yourself personally. You know, it's most of the time as healers, we've had to journey through a lot ourselves to peel away the layers and learn how to step into our power, especially when there's been a huge amount of society up till before 10 years ago that didn't really accept these things. It's becoming a bit more mainstream now, and spirituality is grounding into the earth. But for a long time there, it's like we've kind of been not valued, you know. It's people are like, oh, it's a bit woo-woo, but now we've got so much quantum science, and, you know, beautiful people like Joe Dispenza and so many others are proving that there's actually validation to the science of how these things actually can change and heal people miraculously, right? Which is really beautiful, because it helps support us where people are taking it out of the woo-woo and into the actually, no, this stuff is actually really, really important for society, and it's going to change the world when we start to allow people to really understand the quantum physics and energetics of all this sort of stuff. So I will say too, I do speak fast, and occasionally I do swear. Occasionally it just happens, and I do apologize when I'm channeling. Just listen fast, right? It's, you know, I'm sorry, or come back and rewatch the replay. It's all good. It's all part of the fun, right? It's Kel's magic, you know. Craig, you're probably used to it, right? So yeah, but I love what I do, and I'm very passionate. You probably can see that as well. But yeah, like, we came on here today because we wanted to sort of share some of our gifts and our magic, and actually sort of share what we're experiencing in the world, allowing everyone to start to tune into their beautiful gifts. Craig, you're extremely gifted in what you do, and you know, and I think that was a big thing for him recently, is being like, okay, yeah, really seeing and knowing. It's like you said, feeling that, you know, at the end of this, these people are going to be receiving something profound, you know, and that is like magic. Yeah, that's what I call it. What is your magic, you know? And that's your medicine, it's your gifts, it's all of those beautiful things. You and me both have a very strong passion towards more like a mission or a vision around the collective rising, about how do we ripple this energy out to the world and help more and more people to heal and to have an epic fucking life, right? So and that's what it's about. Yeah. And yourself, Craig, is there like anything new and exciting that's happening in your field at the moment? Any messages that are kind of coming through for you?
Well, there's certainly a lot of messages about what's going on around the world. It's been just magic for me to watch it, because there's just so much going on. I mean, I've known the light was coming. I've mentioned it to the people that are on here 5 years ago. The light's coming, nothing can stop it. And it's a really exciting time at the moment to see the stuff unfolding and everything starting to come out. But what's been the biggest shift for me, and I'm working on my website, which has taken a little bit longer than I would have liked, but I'm kind of doing it properly. And from all the stuff that I've learned from you, I'm now putting all that together. I've got someone doing it for me, because I'm not, it's not one of my strengths. I have a lot of really amazing gifts. That's not one of them. But anyway, that's okay. One of my gifts is that I can get people to do stuff for me. I'm a good manager and delegator when I need to be. So I've got Nika doing my stuff, and it's awesome. And the stuff that I've learned from you, Kelly, and I'm kind of putting that into place, and it's going to start falling into place soon. I just had a meeting with her a few days ago, and it's like all that stuff is ready now. All the things we spoke about, you know, before your healing, send a letter out afterwards. That's all ready. It just needs to be put into place. And last night I actually did my first guided. It's going to be a free 15-minute chakra guided healing meditation, and I did that last night, and I know that's big for me, you know. And I was it's supposed to be 15 minutes, and I had it laid out, and it ended up being 16 minutes. And I realized that during one of the things I got distracted. I'm ADDs. I got distracted. When I looked back at my time, I thought, oh, was it like 1 minute and 23, or was it just 23? And I ended up going a minute over. But fortunately, with technology now, we can just edit that. So she'll put music behind it and whatever. And I just realized, having done that, that's where I need to go in my moving forward, is to do healing videos like that, where people can buy a healing. And that's, and Cheryl, we were also talking about a little bit earlier, is that things have shifted so much now. We're not in that third dimensional, hands have got to be here, got to do your signs, whatever. We really have shifted to where we know we don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
The energy is just so powerful if we just have it in our hearts. And I realized, having done radio interviews where they were recorded like the day before, a few days before, with the person recording, I did a healing, just a minute, she felt something. A day or two later, it was played on the radio. People got in straight, I felt something. And some people then listened afterwards and got something. And it reminded me that there's no time and space in the fifth dimension. That's a third dimensional restriction that we have. And I realized that just today, it's kind of, I knew it, but it kind of dropped in me. If I just put out those healings, and people they can buy healing for $50, let's say, and they can heal themselves every day, all day if they want to. Whenever they're not feeling right, just put it back on, because our energies are connected irrespective. We are in the higher realm, and we talk about the fifth dimension, but let's say we're in the 11th dimension or whatever it is, in our higher selves. Whenever that person puts that thing on and connects to it, my higher self is there automatically. My guides are there. Everything is there, because we're running in parallel universes and timelines and everything that we can't comprehend in our minds. But I'm a conceptual thinker, which has been a terrible thing for my teachers at school. Got in trouble a lot. Because I don't follow steps, I go 1, 2, 6, 10, I'm there, I need to know the steps. But I get the concept that spirit is able to be at any time and place, whether I'm asleep and it's in America and someone's up and about, and it gets to that energy. And that's been a huge shift for me, Kelly, from my course with you. Getting that fifth dimensional healing is where I'm looking to go, where I know I can give that healing to somebody, and at any time, any place. And I've always known that I would heal thousands of people at a time. It's been prophesied to me. I've felt that within myself. And it's a path that we'll walk together, probably, Kelly, and some of that stuff in what we're doing now together. But I realized with that, I could have 1,000 of those around the world, or 10,000 people could be using them at any time. So my big message for you guys tonight, and some of you are older, including myself, we have things have changed very quickly. If you can get out of that mindset of that structured things and just be completely open like a child, just connect again to your inner child, not the programming of your third dimensional thoughts about Reiki and healing, whatever, and go back to your childhood. Both Kelly and I, and probably the rest of you on here, have been like that as children, where our minds are just, I sit with my granddaughter. I did a healing with her the other day. I went to go and stay somewhere. I went away with her for the weekend, took her away surfing. And we stayed at an Airbnb on a farm, and I did healing for a lady, and I had Brianna with me, so I brought her into the healing room. She did her first healing, and she put her hands down this lady's foot and said, "Oh, there's really hard and stuck here, and that's exactly where I've hurt my ankle." She's like 8 years old. She has that mind, and I just, as she was going, so take that crystal, take a crystal, pick it up. This room was full of crystals. She was like a kid in a candy store, as they say, no inhibitions and no and it reminded me I need to get back to that inner child, that little child that I used to be when I was young. All I wanted to do was help people. And then you get pushed into a box, and I'm coming back as I'm getting older. I'm getting back into, okay, I can actually help people. It's okay, I can be myself from my inner child. So yeah, I'm really just finding this fifth dimensional stuff that we working with Kelly. It's just made a huge difference to me and to my healing business. I'm really excited about stepping out of that third dimensional world that I'm stuck in still, in a sense, with work, 8 to 5, like Kelly said, busy. Need to step out of that and be in my fifth dimensional self and just allow it to flow.
I love that. It's exciting about your meditations too, right? Like it's something that, you know, when people start to actually realize that, I think years ago when I started doing my group distance healings, and um, my guides wanted me to do it differently, and they didn't want me to do it as a live video, right? I had a meditation that I'd sent out and put a mantra in place and that, but I was being guided to not do it live, because if I was to move through things, people's minds get in the way and then they start to block it. Oh, hang on, I'm not up with you. You know, have you ever followed a meditation where you're doing a process and then you sort of still feel like you're still doing the process before and they've already moved on to something? And so our minds start to create this energetic blocks, you know, as the healings are happening. Whereas if people can actually just drop in, and if I was to be doing a live right now, you guys are all giving me your attention, right? So you're not actually tuning in and going, okay, actually, what can I feel? What can I see? What's the energy that's moving through my body? And being able to actually realize that you have that ability to tune in and actually receive messages and receive and feel the energy moving through your body. And when we start to do that, it changes everything, right? And that was huge for me. And a lot of people are like, oh, why aren't we on a live? And I was like, well, I had to trust, right? The first few times I did it, I was like, I don't know. I was guided to not do it that way, to do it a different way. And it's very rare that people actually that I see people do healings where they're not actually there, but we actually encode the frequency. The energy is not restricted by time and space. It moves with intention, right? You know, and so often, Craig, you've seen where I showed the rice jars, you know, and like Dr. Emoto's work where we, you know, speak words to certain things and watch them transform based on that energy. So anything that's imprinted with that high frequency, and we're setting the intention and people are opening their giving permission, they're allowing themselves to receive that, you know, and that's where we start to realize it's actually we have so much available to us when we let go of the rules and the regulations and the systems and the structures, and it has to be so done a certain way, and actually listen internally. And our inner child is very much connected to creativity and curiosity. It's like, hang on, what if this was going to work? What if this would actually change something? What if these people will actually have a miraculous healing from experiencing these beautiful things that we actually just are giving an intention and a blessing towards, right? And that's magic, right? Like I love, you know, that energy, right? So I'm very much with you on that. And yes, like how great is that to be able to create something and that can be shared, you know, through many moments of time where you don't actually have to be there, because we all are restricted by I guess time, in the sense that there's only so much time in a day and we all need to sleep. So, you know, and there's different time zones around the world and all that. So yeah, I really love that. And kids, right? Like my children are extremely tuned in, you know. My youngest helps with my group healings quite often. Actually, he's in the room and he's, you know, tapping on the sound bowls and doing other things, and he gets to pick the cards for the group sometimes, and I'm always asking him, what do you think that means, and how do you, and he'll pull out cards from me, and you know, I'm allowing them just to be open and curious and being like, well, what if, you know, like there's allowing that part. I noticed with my oldest though, he's hit 12, so he's now starting to go, I can't see it, mum, you know, that's that logical mind kicking in at that age, and we all have a bit of a human experience that we have to go through, but he's so in tune and he feels things and picks things up, and he says it to me like it's happened a lot lately, where he'll even come in and go, I'm going fishing, can you like put it out there to the universe that I'm going to catch some big fish today, like lots of them, mum? And I'm like, oh really? Like, so he's trying to get me to, because I, you know, can do that sometimes. I'll say something and then it happens in his world and he's like, mum, you made that happen. And it's all, you know, it's been good. And some things that kind of made him step back and go, oh, wow, there's something going on here, you know, which is really fun, you know. So it's making him actually witness that with his own eyes and through his own experiences, that, you know, words and intentions can create magic in our lives if we truly believe, you know. And I love what you were saying before too, right, about, you know, your message around how to do that, like stepping into the creative inner child and the play, right? Accessing our hearts, right? And being in that neutral place between the mind and the body. For me, it's really like one of the things I always work with a lot of my clients. If I was going to suggest anything to everyone here, is learning how to master your nervous system. There's two states of being, right? And this is that polarity, and you know, when we learn to actually regulate that, because a lot of the noise and a lot of the doubts and a lot of the subconscious programs are written into your sympathetic nervous system. So when we do a lot of our intuitive work, we're in the parasympathetic and we're accessing higher frequencies. But a lot of people, a lot of society, especially as we go through changes and healings and awakenings, that nervous system becomes quite activated, and it's what actually blocks a lot of people or hinders them or creates doubts or brings up pain and past experiences and trauma. And so for me, the more I learned how to regulate that system, and teaching people is actually quite easy to do, and we can actually anchor that into the body with simple tools that we use consistently. And by doing that, you know, we start to fire and wire those neural pathways within the brain. And then, you know, when the brain does its scan every 21 days to 3 months, it does it roughly. If those neurons are firing and wiring consistently by you just doing a simple 5-minute practice every day and a couple times a day, dropping into your breath and into presence through mastering the nervous system, you actually move the neuroplasticity to those neuron pathways. That's a bit science for everyone, but it's actually scientifically backed that you can change that, right? You can change your state of being by just being a little bit consistent and by actually allowing yourself to work that. And then you'll find, by not being in that sympathetic nervous system all the time, how much you release and how much you change your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and your state of being. And then knowing that everything that we're doing throughout the rest of our lives, every time we change, that system's going to activate a little bit. But if you're mastering it, you know how to reset it, and you move through those processes quicker, faster, and more easier. So that to me is, you know, a big thing. Something that's, you know, I've been working with a lot of my clients recently has been talking about asking, like, through our heart, and learning how to actually ask our soul or our spiritual self, our higher self, what is truth? Like, what is truth from that highest of dimensions, right? There's a vibration or an energy feeling to divine truth. And what is not truth, right? And so every time we get a story or a feeling or a limitation around, you know, all the things that we tell ourselves every day, and I still have them come up in my field, I just keep clearing them, you know, so that, because we're humans still. But is that truth? You know, is this really truth that, you know, whether it's, are we infinite beings, or how powerful we can be, or is this truth, you know, the story that we might be telling ourselves that's actually limiting us and creating a lot of pain and judgment and disconnection? If it's not truth, then you just clear and delete it. And if you set the intention and be consistent in saying, I clear and delete it from its original creation point and everything associated, and keep doing that and keep resetting your nervous system, you're going to shift that energy from the subconscious, because the neuroplasticity moves, right? So it's like I tell my clients, that's tuning into yourself and asking yourself all the time, because you're the only one that can feel what you're feeling. You're the only one that can hear the thoughts in your head, unless you're, you know, telling them out loud. So asking yourself, is this really truth? Or am I, you know, because we choose what defines us. We choose what stories are controlling us. We choose what 3D, 5D, new earth, old earth, whatever you want to call it, we choose. And that's the thing. Before now, we've not been taught that we have that power. We got the choice to choose what defines us. And when we start to actually live in a world where we actually get to choose, and we choose to live a life that aligned to our values, in doing things that light us up, where we're moving towards like healing others or helping others in some powerful way, our life feels magical, and the universe will keep delivering magic, you know. And I talk to, you know, Craig's aware, I talk about the universal laws. Like, we are not taught in society how to work with these, how you know, like to give and receive. We hear that often, but, you know, if we're working with money, are we using these laws to create so that the universe is going to keep providing for you? Because so often people don't, especially in business, we start to focus on you know, we're in survival because we need money, right? Or everyone's in that space that we need food on our table, so we're in survival, so I need more clients, or I need to have this. So then we start to, everything's now based in that sympathetic nervous system of survival, and then we're chasing the clients. But what's happening is we're chasing the supply, so we push the demand away. So what happens is we start to repel the one thing we want the most. We lose our magnetics, right? And when we start to activate our magnetics and learn, actually, am I using these things that the laws that actually the universe was created on, and that everything's vibration, we change our world, right? We can create money to flow into our lives from various places, and opportunities that, you know, like my book offers, they literally landed on my doorstep, you know, and opportunities that I've had the whole way through. They're just that they kind of get shown in front of me because I'm open to things beyond my wildest dreams, not to a limitation of what my mind only thinks I can have. And then we start to see how magical life can actually be, you know. And that's like, if we could just do that for everybody, like how amazing would that be, to have so many people living a life in that juicy, yummy energy that turns them on every day, because we're actually like in a, just loving it, right? So if that makes sense, you know. So those are things that I, you know, quite often I've been working with a lot of people. Another thing that I've been really working with is like telling people how to really open the heart. Like, we got the infinite energy of our own essence within our heart. There's also making sure that our heart is connected to the earth's heart and to the divine consciousness or source or God or whatever you want to call it. It's his heart, or hers and his, and are working together. So it can be a diamond that you might see, or a triangle. Some people just see it as an orb, and a glowing orb of this energy, and expanding it. I know most people, when they try and expand it, they're like, oh, I can't see my energy, or I can't feel my energy moving outside my aura. You know, I say to them, just set the intention and imagine a glowing globe around your house, or around a house, and see the glowing globe around Australia, right? Because I'm in Australia, so wherever, New Zealand for most of you guys. And then just see a glowing globe around the earth. Just visualize an earth and it's glowing. Now, when you make your energy so big and you're connected to everything, all your problems are really small all of a sudden. And then you can just set that clear intention again, that you clear and delete whatever's coming up from its original creation point and everything associated. When your energy is that big and that expansive, and you're not playing small anymore, you're surprised how quickly we start to shift our reality again, because when we're that expansive in our energy field and realize we are connected to infinite of everything can flow into our lives because we're connected with it too. So it's something that I've been playing with a lot lately in my own field. And again, when I trust these things, it never ever disappoints me. The things that come into my life, of whether it's money or it's, you know, going overseas and having given a free holiday to build a retreat over there in a resort, you know, and lots of different things. That's just in the next month that's happening for me, you know, because my energy is infinite, and source wants me to co-create with it to make magic happen and help others have an amazing life too. Because that's the thing, is it's our birthright to have abundance and prosperity and happiness and joy and fulfillment, right? It is actually your birthright. Just that we were never taught that from young. We were never taught that we are infinite beings and we can create. And as children, we were taught to, you know, not trust our intuition and not believe in magic and what we can do. You know, we very quickly get all those things squashed out of us. And and before you know it, we're playing small, right? So it's about really making ourselves big again.
Awesome.
Kelly, if I could just follow on with it, just tell my friends, it's one of the reasons why I went on that course of yours, because I've seen over the last 5 years how you've grown, you know. We probably all had our dark night of the soul. I had mine 2008, and it lasted quite some time. So not that long ago, I thought I was still in it, you know.
Yeah.
But it was, but the harder and the longer that sort of dark night of the soul is, and the harder the journey, which it is for a lot of us, we need to know that that's because we are so powerful that use the word the darkness, whatever you want to call it, is trying to stop us because they know just how powerful we are. And
Mhm.
I've seen Kelly from 5 years ago, where her and I started off. Literally, I was on, now before her doing a healing thing, and she was after me from where we were both at that time. I can see how Kelly has really just grown unbelievably in so many aspects of that healing journey, where she's able to now have a life and living a life. That's kind of what I'm trying to aim at myself,
Yeah.
So I know that you walked the walk, Kelly, and I've did that course of yours because I saw how you have managed to do that yourself. I'm obviously a bit of a slow learner, I'm still on that journey, but it all comes exactly when it's supposed to, the things that I'm needing to learn, places I need to be. So, but just for all of you, I've seen what Kelly's done, and that mindset of hers has really brought her to where she is. And I have that mindset, but I still have some of that programming from the kid that still needs to be, I need that shit knocked out of me,
Mm.
But we'll get there.
And the truth is though, that's why I say to my clients, love this, because I'm not separate from them. And what you experience, I still have days where I hear that story in my head going, oh goodness, I can't do that, or I'm not good enough, or and I giggle. We just have to laugh, because it's just, there's so many thoughts that go through our head. It's just we choose which ones we, I guess, buy into again. So the programs and the systems, again, they're just noise, but we choose which noise is allowing itself, and it will always get louder just before it's about to shift, right? Because the subconscious starts grasping it, echoing to keep more you release it, it's going to throw it out again because it wants to call it back, until that neuroplasticity moves, because it feels that shaky ground. And it doesn't know how to predict the future if you haven't, like it wants safety, right? So if this is the life you've been living and this is the identity that you've had, it knows how to kind of predict what things to fear the most, right? So this is all sympathetic nervous system, and it's all the stories and the garbage. So it's like every day, if we just stop every day, and I say, I have days when my kids annoy me and I kind of, my tolerance levels out the window, and I'm just like, but I, go and I go for a walk around the lake and I listen to my podcast and I just say and breathe it out. And I'm like, I clear and delete all of that unaligned, that lower vibrational stuff from my being, right? And most of the time, as soon as I do that, I start burping. Like I was doing clearings on clients, and I start, because I can feel that's the energy release from my body. And that's how it happens for me, right? But it's just setting that intention to say every day, I just need to tell myself that, okay, because sometimes you'll have emotions where you feel a bit off, something triggers you, you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. We're human, right? But it's not hard to keep shifting that out of our field, right? We just set the intention and do a quick breathe it out. As I breathe out, I release. As I breathe in, I'm drawing energy back in, right? I'm, and it's just by intention, right? And I think that's where most people don't realize it's actually really simple, and it gets easier. It's not easy in the beginning because we have to practice. And it's not that we have to practice long and hard and make it complex. Trust. Can it be that simple? Can I get in the shower and wash it away and then fill myself up with yummy energy again? It can be really simple. And I think that's where the magic happens, right? Like I used to, in the beginning, when I was going through all mine, and I've been through a lot, Craig knows, a lot of abuse and emotional, psychological and economical stuff, and, the person ended up with a brain tumor and very chemically imbalanced, and created a lot of chaos in my world. And I wasn't living with them anymore, but I realized how much my subconscious had created trigger points around. So every time my phone would be, didn't have to be them, every time my phone would be, my nervous system turned on. So what happens? My tolerance for my children went down. I would start to get a headache. I would notice these things, and I was like, and then I'd sit there and going, what set my nervous system off? When I started to actually acknowledge the patterns that would erupt in my body. And they still occasionally happen. I'm like, sometimes I say to the kids, you guys need to stop. Mum's tolerance is like, I can feel that I'm about to hit the roof, And it's just, it's having self-awareness, right? And not judging ourselves for not being perfect, right? That's a big thing, because so often then we judge ourselves for judging ourselves too. We're like, oh, I'm judging myself again. Oh, like it's those looping patterns, because the dark night of the soul or healing itself, we can loop in stages. Like the Dark Night of Soul has 6 stages, yeah. And often we get stuck in looping in between, you know, usually 3 and 4 are the biggest ones people loop in, right? But it's a nervous system overload that's actually allowing us to trap ourselves in those stages. So, you know, it's really powerful work when we take it in and just learn to trust and do simple things. You know, we can choose to change our lives by just allowing ourselves to be present and enjoying the wind on our skin and being in that parasympathetic system, and learning, you know, what is our values, what do we truly desire from our heart, what fills us up. And yeah, you know, you create that path from there. So it's pretty cool, like what we can do. And I'm here to help spread the word. And like, you know, like Craig, we all want to heal. We all want people to shift that frequency and the consciousness, you know. But yeah, most of the time healers are taught very systems that are very and all of us have, because all of society does this, is teaches us systems that trap us in limitation, trap us in creating repelling energy instead of magnetics, you know. Yeah, and I guess for me too, it's like learning who you are, learning to feel what is a yes, what is a no, learning to see when is my nervous system getting tripped. Because like I said, if I let my phone every time it beeps trip my nervous system, I'd be stuffed. Because how would I run a business? How would I you know, talk to my friends if every time someone messaged me, my nervous system was fired off, you know? So I had to reprint that and rechange that and get over that PTSD and that trauma response. But I also had to recognize where those things were triggered in my body, you know, and when it would happen. Yeah. So it's just having that being present with yourself, really just being present and witnessing and being curious. Don't judge, just curious. Because if you start to ask spirit and soul, it will actually start to give you the things you need to move through whatever it is you desire, if it's moving you towards a higher path. Yeah.
Awesome. And thank you for sharing, Kelly. Perhaps you can, I know Stacey was looking particularly kind of your course side of things, might be interested in that. So maybe just want to explain a little bit about the course that I did, kind of what it entails and whatever.
Oh, thanks, Craig.
Anyone again, or whether it's just you can do it at any time.
Yeah, so quantify came to me. It was one of those things that I see so often. There's so many amazing healers out there, and we're all taught that it's a hobby, or, you know, we can't succeed, or there's no money in it. And I was like, this is bullshit. Like, I see so many people, like, you know, Tony Robbins or Vision Lakhani or Joe Dispenza. They're all very spiritual people. There's so many spiritual people that are absolutely living in a massive amounts of abundance. So it's not true. And science backs it, right, through quantum physics. And it's again one of those things that is trying to limit us. So quantify I created because it is working through, I guess there's layers, some people call them classrooms, where, you know, and understanding, I guess, the nervous system response, the beliefs that go through, how do we create money, like money mastery, which is basically using universal laws so that money starts to flow, because a lot of people are living in their sympathetic nervous system because of money. They're worrying about where are they going to get the next paycheck from, how are they going to put food on the table, and so it's draining a lot of their energy. If we can start to create stability, and again, that's that 0 point that Craig was talking about earlier, where we don't have a massive amounts of emotion and constantly thinking and using, I guess, like most people are paying their bills first. So you're telling the universe what's number one: bills, send me more bills, right? And it's like, okay, hang on, well, what is number one? Well, I'll tell you what number one is: you. And if you are not paying you every week, and I'm not a financial advisor, so just take that first, but if you're not paying you, and it can be just a coffee every week, something that's for you, that makes you feel good, right? And you're not, that is important. You must be paying you. And then it's, they used to say, you know, people say saving for a rainy day. Don't save for a rainy day, but you're saving for a happy or a fun fund, right? But the idea is that you wouldn't spend that. So it's talking about why, because it takes the emotional triggers, the highs and the lows. When we get highs and lows, it creates feast and famine. It brings money in, it takes money out. It does this dance where we're always feeling unstable, right? Because our emotions are unstable as well. And then it goes, you know, number 3, it's like giving every week, giving to some sort of source for thanking the universe that it's given you money. There's others out there that are doing it harder than you. So if you could give a little bit of money to somebody else and help them, right? But then you're opening the pathway for the universe to actually give to you through anonymous resources as well, because you're not giving to these people and saying, I want something in exchange. You're giving it just as a thanks to the universe, but it will always give back. It's one of those laws. So it's talking a bit about that. So money mastery, universal laws in business. How does the energetics work, in 5D, giving clearing tools around all different levels, I work with the inner child, and because it is massive when we look, and if we're looking at, some people call them classes or layers, there's inner child's one, nervous system's one, masculine and feminine. Masculine's the head, the body's the feminine, intuitive power. So how do we merge those? Because again, we're coming to center point. If you want to live in a high vibrational state, you need to be in the center point. And center point is the energy of love, right? It's a place where we're finding uniting between our mind and our body, and actually having them in coherence, right? You hear often Joe Dispenza talks about the mind in coherence, the left and the right hemispheres of the mind, but also the body. So I give you simple tools to start to create regulation and coherence, right? And then tuning into, what are your values? Like, what is that life? What is that fuck yes life? And are you actually living in alignment? How do you anchor and stabilize to actually create from that place, right? It's taking you through lots of things like that. And then I get into, yes, a little bit of sales and marketing and giving you guys ideas. That's why it was Craig. It was like one of the first things when we had dropped in, and you got lucky, we got a one-on-one session with me, and a couple of times anyway. But I was like looking at some of the things. I was like, hang on, you do Reiki, but you're not on Google. Like, Google is an open source of people to find you from all over the world, right? And Google Business is free, right? And then if you just get reviews on there, like most people, if they're in your area, they don't know who you are, but they're going to go into Google and they're going to search for a healer near me, energy healer, Reiki. Reiki is the #1 name that's searched in energy healing. So that's why I tell anyone that's working in energetics and modalities like that, if they're offering some sort of healing, they need to have Reiki in there as well, because Google doesn't allow you to put in theta healer, doesn't allow you to put in timeline. You can only do that through your SEOs, right? So how do we hack the system so that we create, again, flow, where people can see you, find you, so we still do have to work with some of these things, but how do we raise the vibration in our business so it's not draining us? Because often we feel like we're on a hamster wheel, we're trying all these things to make it work, and we lose our momentum, and we start to question, is this our purpose? Is this our path? And I was seeing too many amazing healers, super gifted, who had, 1 foot in and 1 foot out, because they were finding the inability to create stability in there and actually allow themselves to live in that higher vibration. If we're in scarcity and not getting the financial rewards, we need money in our world, right? So you need to be valued, and you need to and I guess for me, it was like years ago, I used to charge lower amounts of money. One, because I didn't think I was as great as I was, but two, I didn't think people would have the money to pay. And, I do these kind of things. When I finally got out of that mindset and started charging appropriately, and I still have group distance healings, right? So for people that need one and they only can afford $15, I've still offer that. I have lots of free content for people that need it, because when I was a single mom, I used a lot of that stuff. So I'm not separating myself from those people either. But when I started charging for my sessions appropriately, people started to look at me and value me as well. And then they were booking consistently. They had the money. They weren't in scarcity. They're like, you got the goods, I want what you got, right? And then that way, then all of a sudden my calendar is filling up faster, right? And people aren't scared to pay you, right? But that's the frequency we need to shift into, so that, we're working through our own things. And I know a lot of mine of moving into that energy was guilt, because I was a single mom, or am a single mom. And in the beginning, as much as I was doing my money mastery, and it was proving itself to be right, and I always had money in my accounts, and surprisingly my bills account, which I paid last, and always felt like there was the shortfall of it when I worked it out. ended up after 3 months having over $1,000 in it. And I was like, how does this work? How did this happen? You know, so I was seeing the results, right? But back then I was still dealing, like, as I got better and better, I was sitting in the guilt of, oh, but what about the poor single mom, you know? And then I had to realize, actually I have stuff for them too. I'm always giving free content. I'm here right now. I'm not charging a single cent for my wisdom and knowledge, right? So people can still get what they need. They're still going to get that help. You know, the universe is vast in allowing for people that need it and truly desire it from their heart and their soul wants to help them. They'll find people that have got that content out there, and that's where we share our magic. You know, it's like Craig's wanting to offer these meditations. They're affordable, right? So people can keep doing the healing. You know, if they feel, they'll find the way. The universe will not leave them without. They will find the way. It will provide for them when we know how to get that energy of magnetics happening. So yeah, it's a bit about that. I think I kind of went off track there, but anyway, as I do. But yeah, so Quantify is really about if I can bring more healers, more amazing people, and it's not always healers either. I've actually got people that work in some of the affiliate marketing things. I've even got someone that's like a interior design, you know, but she's spiritual as well. So she's like, okay, like I can still intuitively be able to create in my spaces, you know, and so she's working in mainstream businesses and things like that. So, you know, it's not just those people because this is for everybody, but I just want to see more of the spiritual, I guess, soul entrepreneurs, people that are led by their hearts to succeed and create amazingness, because this is going to ripple out, right? It's the more of the collective rising, the more of these people that get into the place that they deserve to be, the more that the whole world will start to level up, the more people will get that help. So for me, there's a bigger mission kind of behind it in a sense, but it's all about, yeah, teaching people what I learned and what was missing when I used to do a lot of mentorships and, you know, learn sales and marketing. And I'd be like, why is this not working? You know, because it was missing a huge foundations of things that are about the new earth and 5D. And I function from that energy. So anything that was being taught to me in a low vibration was only pulling me out of my purpose instead of putting me in it. So that's kind of what it was designed for. Yeah. And also in the course as well, I have special guests. So like when I was talking about the astrology before, so she came in and she shared a lot about, you know, what moons or planets do not, you know, do certain things in, you know, like for the year, you know, she told us all when, if we are launching something and creating contacts, when we need to do these things. I've got some people that come in and do human design. I've talked about the north and south nodes. So aligning ourselves to understanding our north and south nodes are, you know, one of them's our comfort zone and one of them is actually going to light you up and help you expand into your greatness, right? You know, I've got someone else that comes in and talked a little bit about human design, and I also have pieces in there so people can actually get to know who you are, because it is written in the stars. It is completely there. Like my blueprint is very much around being independent. I am a manifester, so I am one of the few ones that means I lead the way, to show people the path, because I'm connected very, very clearly to consciousness. But for me to expand into my greatness, because I'm super hyper independent, is to actually collaborate, is actually, and I'm a teacher, everything comes through my throat. So also my triggers come in through my throat as well. So if I don't feel heard, I kind of got to watch that I don't get triggered. Not that, you know, but I know with my kids, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not listening. Like, I said this 5 times. I'm gonna lose it, you know, because my throat really does. Like, and even years ago, I used to feel when my partner, you know, when I didn't feel heard, it was very triggering for me. But it's because this 6 is very much the energy of a teacher. It's about speaking and teaching what you know and your knowledge. And in Diamond Light numerology, you know, I'm a 11, which 10, which is bringing divine consciousness to earth. So it's funny how my human design, my north and south nodes, and my numerology all say the same thing, just in different words, right? So when we start to actually learn those things and actually learn the patterns, because our diamond light numerology can also tell us our triggers and how we behave certain ways. Yeah, so I give everyone those kind of things too, so they actually can really drop into their genius in their areas that actually can allow them to create bigger and better magic, you know. Actually, I even did Craig's. If you want me to talk a bit about what yours is, Craig, I did do, yeah, I asked about your date of birth and stuff.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. Just before you get to that, the one big thing for me was I've been charging the same price for 9 years, and with you, and I looked at it, and I've increased my pricing, and it's made such a huge difference. Most people are still paying no problem, and it's like if I'm making 30% more, so it's like if I do 3 healings, I'm earning 4 healings in a sense, just by valuing myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the big lessons I got from you as well. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I actually loved when we did the call afterwards, and I was like, "How's it going?" He's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't shut my wallet." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, I got paid all this cash, like, and I'm charging more, and I actually can't shut my wallet." And I was like, "That's a hell yes!" Like, that's a great thing because he's an amazing healer, right? Like, he does create magic and help people on such a level like that. And see, the thing is people see that when if you're charging low prices and there's so many people charging in a low price, it's like they kind of go, okay. Whereas if you were to look for an expert, experts do charge a little bit more. If you own that you are great at what you do and you don't, there's always going to be somebody better or somebody behind. It's all part of the path. Like, I didn't start here. I migrated to here, but yeah, I was like, Craig, you need to be charged more, right? And so when he did that a week later and he's like, oh my God, I can't shut my wallet, I was like, fuck yes, I'm wrong with that. So yeah, super, super fun, right? So yeah, it's things like that, really making people to really realize how amazing they are and how much value they are and how much other are going to value them too, right? So I want as many people as can see their beautiful radiance as I can, like you, Craig. So do you want me to share, Craig?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, okay. I won't share what your date of birth is because we don't know what platforms this is, but looking at Craig's thing and where he was born, and when I spat this into my little system, which can tell me some of the stuff. So in his human design, he's a manifesting generator. So when we explore that, I'm going to read out of my thing because I just kind of copied it down. I didn't memorize your thing. How you can lever your unique design and astrology influences to create success in your healing business and make money in positive ways is one, embracing your human design as the manifesting generator. A manifesting generator, you propose a dynamic blend of energy and versatility. Your innate ability to multitask and adapt allows you to explore various interests and modalities in your practice, right? So being innate means you're tuning in right then and there, right? And you're blending multiple things in that moment to choose what's right for you and harnessing that. So following your strategy of responding. So instead of initiating actions impulsively, wait for opportunities or cues that resonate with you. So it's always about being in the moment and waiting for something that actually resonates and not being impulsive with what everyone else is saying, doing, and being. This approach ensures that your energy is investing in endeavors aligned to your true path, right? So you're very good at listening and intuitively feeling in. You need to inform others because you are part of you. Manifestors are about informing. But you're a generating manifestor. So once you've decided to act, keep those involved informed. So letting people know why you're doing what you're doing so that they've got that comfort, they feel comfortable, they feel safe, people seek knowledge, they want awareness, right? So informing them why you're doing what you're doing can actually allow people to be like, okay, I'm on board with this. Okay, I trust what you're doing because that makes sense. Or if it doesn't make sense, it just feels right? So this transparency fosters trust and allows for smooth collaboration. So it allows people to trust you. Honoring your multifaceted nature. So it's natural for manifesting generators to have diverse interests. Embrace this by integrating various healing techniques into your practice, offering clients a holistic experience. Leveraging your Gemini sun and your north node in Sagittarius. So now we're going into the north and south nodes, right? So your astrology placement provides further insights. Your Gemini sun, this placement endows you with excitement, communication skills, adaptability, and a thirst for knowledge. So you probably find that you're always seeking more information, even if it's from up there, right? In your business, this translates to effectively conveying your healing philosophies and continually learning new methodologies, right? So it's about moving into this new era, about shifting with change. The one thing that's always consistent is everything's changing. Nothing's never meant to stay the same. Energy never sits still. So for you, it's adapting. It's about learning about that as things are shifting and changing. And, you know, for you, it's moving into this new level of consciousness with the Aquarian age, right? Your North Node in Sagittarius and South Node is in Gemini. So when we look at that, if your South Node in one's your comfort zone and one is your expansion, and we've talked about this in the course, your life path involves moving from a familiar territory of the Gemini, which is your South Node, and accumulating and sharing information to embrace the Sagittarian qualities, like seeking deeper truth, teachings, and expanding horizons. So for you, it's a little bit about sharing that newness, that change, that ever expanding awareness. This suggests a calling to not only practice healing, but also educate others, perhaps through workshops and writing. So even in your meditations, it's, you know, giving people some of that, like talking them through those experiences will actually allow you to tune into, one, you're informing them, and two, that you're teaching them. Because like you said, if they're allowing them to be able to do healings over and over and over again, allowing these people to actually be able to learn how to harness their own energy so that they can feel that as well. And so they're like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this meditation of this guy's, you know, if they're Craig's, of course, the amazing Craig, and they share that with their friends and say, you have to jump on. And then by the time they've done that, they're ready for the next one. And they buy the next one, right? Because things are evolving and you're up leveling them in your teachings as well. Creating positive impact with your gifts and purposes. So to maximize your influence, educate and share wisdom, utilize your communication to teach others healing through courses, seminars, and all that. We just said that. Integrate diversity and build authentic connections. So engage in your community genuinely, potential blockers and how to overcome them. I can share that with you as well.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, awareness of potential challenges that can empower you to navigate through them effectively. So scattered energy, your enthusiasm for multiple interests might lead to overextension. So making sure you're not getting caught by all the shiny objects that are all over the place and everyone's got something, and it's like prioritizing and setting boundaries to remain focused. Making clear, remember, it's this refining and defining energy, one of the universal laws. If we scatter our energy, we got one hand in here, we're doing this and doing that, you know, that's why with you outsourcing and staying really clear about what is my priorities are to do this work, and if somebody else can do that, I know what it needs to be. You know, we're not scattering ourselves so much, and therefore that clear, refined, and defined energy tells the universe also what are your priorities and what is important in your life, and allows you to anchor and stabilize in that. So yeah, being very clear about that.
I've become much better at that.
Good.
Yeah, big improvement for me.
Yeah, I've been there, don't worry. I've like all the shiny things. I was like, oh, what about this? And especially when we're seeking something and we really want to heal, all of a sudden the universe throws so much in front of us and we're like, what about this one? What about that one? Am I supposed to do this? And we get really confused. Yeah, so we don't do much. The desire for quick results can sometimes clash with the need for processes to unfold naturally. So it's saying that there's a space for you to need to have more patience. And sometimes, you know, it's like, oh, I know it's happening. And like when we tune in, especially when we're doing these kind of courses, right? We can feel it, right? But you know, I used to do the same thing. It was like all of a sudden I would get a dip in my clients, and then I'd be like, oh, you know, and I drop back into that impatience, or am I doing something wrong, right? And it's very natural, right? But then it's like actually trusting. Some weeks that when I don't get clients, it's because I'm supposed to be creating, and the next week it gives me double, and or money just appears from some random place. So when we start to really harness into that energy and not allow impatience to drive us, you know, or yeah, we will allow the process to actually speed up then. So it's just, yeah, I'm a Taurus, so I'm not very patient at the best of times, right? I'm a bit of a bullhead. So practice patience, trust, and timing in your endeavors. Resistance to delegation. Here you go. So at least you're doing that. Feeling the need to handle everything yourself can lead to burnout. Recognizing tasks can be outsourced and allowing you to concentrate on areas where you are excellent. Yeah. Did I just say this before? So you've just been tapping into that, need to do these things, you know? So so this is the sort of thing, like even when we get deeper into our astrology and our human design, when we start to learn who we are at our core and what things can actually block us and hinder us in understanding, our comfort zones are so often our south node. So a lot of the time they're the journey of our early years of life where our subconscious is imprinted, and we can often stay in those things because they feel comfortable and we might be great at them, but we're not expanding, we're not changing. Excuse me. I got a tickly throat. I had a cold the other week, so it's like I'm still getting. I promise you won't catch it. I promise you can't catch it through the computer. Yeah, so this ever changing, right? And for me, it's learning to not be hyper independent and do everything myself and trusting in others. But the biggest one for me was learning to do that, was to trust in the universe, actually, that it's going to give me what I need, right? That I don't have to do it all. And then it did. It just shows up in the most magical ways, right? So that's a big thing, right? And delegating to those, realizing actually others can do some things better than me. Not much. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm not good at a few things.
So I
Like I
always do
said, I couldn't
everything
hook up the
myself
live.
because no one can do
Sorry?
it better that's why I always do everything myself because no one can do it better than me.
Ooh,
We're coming to
trust
realize,
me, I've
yes,
been there for
yes,
many of times, and I'm like,
yes.
I guess it's because I was a perfectionist for so long. So then it was like, I have these ideas in my head, but then, yeah, like I said, some things just do my head in. So I'm like, no. So I tried to hook this up so it went live on Facebook the other day, and for the life of me, after an hour and a half, I could not get the algorithms to talk, and I was like, I'm out. Done. We're just doing it in Zoom.
One person that's really helped with that is my cleaner. I have a lady that comes in and cleans kind of every couple of weeks, and nothing, not one single thing is put back where it was found. Not one single thing. And I'm OCD perfectionist. Like the soap will be put on another thing, the shampoo's here. It's like, okay, can you not
No.
put one single thing back where it came from? You know, I've had to learn. It's okay. She does a great job of cleaning. It's okay. I don't put everything back where it belongs afterwards. But it's taught me that it's okay. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, that would do my head in. Actually, that was one thing I learned years ago too, was realizing too that like it was like cleaning. Actually, I ended up getting a cleaner in, and at that stage, way back then, I was a little bit like, okay, can I afford this? And I was like, okay, the universe is telling me to do it, and if I do this, so if I'm going to outsource instead of cleaning on the house on the Friday, because I am also a little bit OCD and don't like my house too messy, and I've got 2 boys, so God bless me, please. Like, you know, they're like little cyclones running through my house at the best of times. So was delegating that. And then, you know, every time I would always have a client session that paid me more than what it was costing me to clean. And I was doing something I loved, right? See, so it was really a deep place of trust as well. Then I realized actually there was a part of me that was missing a little bit of the cleaning. Not all of it. I don't like cleaning toilets, to be honest. But I don't think anyone does. And if you do, cheers to you. No. Yeah, I'm not much into playing with shit. Sorry, that's my bad jokes. Was like realizing that vacuuming, because I listen to my music and I kind of get into a state of like, I talk a lot about how do we be like in active meditative states, right? And so often women, we can turn on music, right? And we can be singing. So me, when I'm vacuuming the house, I turn on my music and I'm just in this autopilot mode, right? And most of us will know when we start to receive messages, we are often in autopilot mode. We're driving our car, we're getting in the shower, and it's like right then and there, we're like, I need a pen, I need to write this down. Thank gosh, I've got a recorder on my phone now, right? So I can hit it and speak it, right? But it used to happen to me all the time. And it was always when I was in these states of autopilot, right? And then I realized it's because my mind, you know, I'm singing and I'm in the moment, even if I'm vacuuming. So I say to people all the time, vacuum, it's a great meditation if you can actually, you know, tune into your own music, right? So yeah, it's learning those kind of things. How do we actually do this in our everyday life to actually access those divine answers and questions and information too?
Awesome.
So you guys, now we've spoken lots. Has anyone got any questions or anything you would like to share about your biggest takeaways, or just want to tell Craig how amazing he is? I don't know.
Oh, he knows how amazing he is.
He does.
He
d-
is.
You,
He is
you all
totally.
are. You
He's
all are
helped with
amazing.
so many of my family members and
Hmm.
friends. Unbelievable, Craig. You've been fantastic.
Well, thank you.
So I can imagine how good you are now. This was a few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Anyone
Thank
else?
you.
Anyone else have any questions or want to ask something?
Stacey, you must have a question or two, surely.
Here we go, Mary. How do you put yourself on Google, please? So if you've got a Google account, like I know it was years ago that I did it, so I wouldn't be able to tell you the whole process exactly. But if you go into just like Google, like in Google itself and search Google My Business, and it'll say how to, it comes up, make sure you're on the Google one. And you actually just insert like add. So for me, I've got a Gmail because my Energetically Inspires with Gmail, and I use Google Docs and everything. So I'm already logged into Google as it's all of its lovely little apps or tabs or whatever on my computer. Google Your Business, though, they used to actually have it as you could actually have a website with them years ago. They don't have that anymore, but you can then when you go through it, it actually will take you through a verification process. Back when I did it years ago, it would actually have to send you a postcard. And when you got the postcard, you'd have to put in the PIN number. I think that's changed now. I don't think they physically post you something. But yeah, adding Google My Business in. And then when you go through, it'll literally allow you to add your times in. You can book booking calendars. I find one of the hacks to using Google as well, making sure that you ask your customers to leave a review and say to them, hey, I'll give you $10 off, or, so if they leave a review, because people will read your reviews, whether you think they do or not. So, ask. And I said that to Craig, are you asking people to give you reviews even on Facebook? And just when you do your follow-up message the next day after their healings, give them the link, make it easy for them. It's a standard, spiel with a bit of their personal stuff at the top. And that will really help. There's also in Google, you can add pictures too. Once you've got Google My Picture, it's got little tabs at the top. So, sometimes I steal pictures or images or words off of Facebook or things like that. And I just drop them in there for pictures and do a little share. Sometimes I don't. And you can do updates and add stories and things like that as well. So it's really handy. It's a great forum to be able to access new people. And you'll work out what are the words. It will only allow you to select certain words, like say if you're a healer or a coach or certain things. So you'll have to play with that. And then then you can link your website to it too if you want as well. So it works great. So yeah, and then like I said, in my website now, if people want to read reviews, I've got a couple of them from there, and then I've got the links so they can actually get directed back to Google to read all the 40 other, 50 other, whatever there is there for them to read. So yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mary. Anyone else?
I just want to say thank you too. Very inspiring, lovely to meet you, hear your story. Lovely to see you all. Craig, awesome to see how well you're doing. Just fly high, everybody, and I love you lots because I've got to go now.
Yeah.
We'll catch
Yeah.
up again. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
Gail.
you.
appreciate
Lovely
it.
to
Thanks,
see
Gail.
you.
See ya.
Bye, Gail.
Bye.
Bye.
Stacey, was there something you wanted to ask?
Me?
Yeah. Yes,
I'm
you.
just I'm at the very early stages of like having clients, and mainly so I had a spiritual awakening recently. It was quite intense, didn't think I was going to come out of it, but
Mhm.
from that my intuition is so heightened, and messages, and I just keep sharing everything that just keeps coming. So I've been working a lot with friends and family, and they're like, wow, how do you know this? I'm like, I fucking don't know, but here it is. And I just keep, and then I did some Gaia healing, which is similar to Reiki, probably about 4 years ago, and I've been doing it to help people that have been struggling, and just to unblock some chakras. And so I'm still not at the stage that I'm comfortable charging someone. Like I'm at the very I know. I'm taking baby steps. I'm just like I'm not there yet, but I'm trying.
And I started literally, I say this to people, like in my story, if you watch my masterclass, I talk a bit about it there, or even in my program, that I started just with charging $30 when after my divorce, and my youngest was little. Someone said to me, just put it out there to your friends and family and say, hey, I just want to get my skills a bit more honed in, like it was literally also picking up my own self-belief around this, right? Of that I actually can do this.
Yeah.
And people will happily like pay you, even, I don't know, that, like I said, way back then, me, it was like, I offered $30, right? People will book, so it's a great way to actually put it out there, because you'd be surprised how many people might not even know that you're offering that. So if you go on Facebook and go, hey guys, I've been, doing these healings for friends and family, and I really want to start to expand myself. Hey, I'm offering a really cheap, and it's one way to start to practice. So many times through my own healings made me go, wow, like there's so many things that you learn through doing them and getting paid for it. Like you deserve to get paid. And there's always somebody, like I said, there's always somebody better, and there's always somebody that's behind you, right? And what you're sharing to them is, because they're needing that knowledge and that information. So never say that you're not great enough to be giving that, and something I say to a lot of people is like, if we actually stood in the energy of like, who the fuck are we to not help somebody? Like if you could be helping somebody right now and you're just not offering that to somebody, and that's the truth. Like a lot of us stand in our own way, and it's like, actually, if we're not showing up and putting it out there to people, we're actually truly, and sounds a bit harsh, but we're contributing to others' suffering. It continuing, like it's not our job, it's not our fault that they're there, but you can actually be changing that, right? Right. So if you stepped into that and going, actually, well, if I can just help one or two more people every week or whatever, you're not just changing them, you're changing someone in their family with them. It's rippling out, like my own healing was also helped my children, and they helped their friends, and it ripples out in so many ways that, I would just really encourage you just to take that step, because there's always going to be something that tells you to stay small. And I'm all about telling you that you're actually really amazing and big. And I started where you are. Craig started where you are. Cheryl started where you were, right? And we all just had to take the step to go, okay, I'm going to do this. Yeah.
And this is the thing, like doors keep opening for me. Like since then, I'm moving into my own place. There's this beautiful room that's all set up. This like massage table came available. Like everything is like, Stacey, get your shit together, girl. I'm like, so I'm ready. I'm just,
But you are.
I just
There
got
you
to rip
go.
the Band-Aid and just be like,
Just do
go
it.
for it.
Just do it. Yeah.
So if I could just follow up on what Kelly said, and I'll just say what when I did my course with Tina Zion, who's a very well-known medical intuitive, she was a nurse and is an intuitive healer from America, and I bought one of her books, and she would just kind of tap in for you when sign your book. She would tap in, have a message, and she wrote it down, and I'll share the message that she wrote for me in the book, and this is for you as well. And she wrote, "People are waiting for you. You are ready. Believe it." And as I say that, my hairs are just standing up everywhere in my entire body. And I've been doing healing with you for a long time. You've been part of this Galactic Guardians group with this beautiful group of people. Some of the people here, we had a large number of us. And I've done healings with you fairly recently and seen you grow. And it's like like me, your Pandora's box has opened up.
Oh, yeah.
And there are people waiting for you.
Okay.
And there are some people, you are the only person on this planet that can help them. Kelly can't help them. I can't help them. Cheryl can't help them. And Mary can't help them. All of us are Reiki masters. We can't help them. You are the only person on this planet that can help them. And that's through your path, through your journey, your dark night of the soul. If that's all opening up, I've always told you, those gifts are there. You've always known that you and I have had that connection.
Yeah.
From previous things where I'd pick up something and say, that's exactly what I saw.
Yeah.
So you've always had it. I mean, we're going back 2 years when we were doing the galactic stuff. So there are people waiting for you. And as Kelly says, they're waiting for you. You can help them. And you can keep doing it for nothing or whatever. And that's okay. But you need to know that if you follow a path, and Kelly's course would be a really good thing for you to look at, and set a path and set it up. Those people that have $500 to come and see you for 50 minutes, they'll come and see you. So you don't have to charge $500 for 15 minutes. You can charge $50 for 20 minutes or half an hour.
Yeah.
But it's not about the charging. Spirit will bring to you those people that need to come to you. There are people waiting for you. You are ready. Believe it. And it's one of the hardest things that was been for me is I was knocked down as a child my whole life. And it came from, I said, my brother's a doctor, my all academic, I'm the black sheep in the family, ADD, not academic in a sense, because I see a bird outside and that's my mind's flying around in the sky somewhere. You know, I've been knocked down my whole life. You'll never be anything if you don't do this. And, you know, money doesn't grow on trees, all that stuff that Kelly's helped me to get through. And I've got through a lot of it myself, through healing myself. I still sit with that. But I realize that every person that in this beautiful group of people that's been on here tonight, we haven't spoken for some of us for a year or more, you know. But we are beautiful souls that are connected to each other. We're all helping each other.
Yeah.
And there are people waiting for you. You are ready. Believe it. Set that thing up. Get your business going. Spirit's putting you in and giving you a healing room, a bed, and saying, listen, for fuck's sakes, what more do I need to do for you, girl? You know, get up off your ass and do what you're supposed to do.
I know.
I can't do much more. You've got to do some of it yourself. But
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
only teasing it. You know, you're a beautiful soul. You have gifts, and your path you've been down and things that you've been down. You're the only person that can help this person. There's not. You can take all four of us here, all Reiki masters. We cannot do what you can do for the people that are meant to come to you. And I learned
That's
that
so
lesson
true.
once before as well. When I saw someone in a band playing, a lady singing at the market here in Kerikeri, and I really felt my God said, you need to go and help her. And she walked past, and I can't just go to this person, I don't know her. Later in the day, I walked around the corner, boom, knocked into her. But we literally bumped into each other.
Mm.
And I realized that Spirit will knock you into, you can't avoid who you're supposed to help. I did a healing for her, and it was completely life-changing for her. I saw her the other day playing at the market again a month or so ago. And she said, man, my whole life has changed, you know. You connected me to my higher self. And that's 4 years ago. Changed her entire life. And Spirit made me literally, when I didn't have the courage to do it myself, I literally bumped into her and said, oh, I feel like I need to give you healing, you know. So Spirit will bring you the people that need to come to you. You cannot stop it.
It's true. It's
So
100% true.
So don't stop it.
I know this as
Yeah.
well because I keep bumping into them at like the op shop. They're like, Stacey, and I was like, yeah, soon. I'll have my space soon. But the reality is that I can go to them. So I understand that the message is coming through loud and clear.
You'll get
Yeah.
there.
And
All the other four of us here have unconditional love for you to step into.
100%, darling, you know.
We're
And
all
he's
glad
so
about it.
true. He's 100% spot on that you are unique, and it's, you know, that's something that we talk about a lot in my program and when I help others, that all of us are so unique, and we are that unique medicine that only us can offer, that unique gift and medicine for that person, right? Not all medicines are going to help everybody, right? So yeah, just realize that, darling, and you know, you can then be changing, and each one of those, trust me, it'll just light you up that bit more, and it's heart fulfilling, and yeah.
And it does. And the ones that I've done for friends and family, like I've walked away and just felt healing at the same, you know, as well as giving healing. And it's just,
So yeah, so why not? Why would you like limit yourself? And yeah. So it's crazy how it's the imposter syndrome most people struggle with, is that imposter syndrome of like, oh, and the thing is there's always somebody needing where you're at, and then you're going to keep moving forward, and you know, new people will enter on your path. You know, they said, I didn't start here, but I had to start somewhere to get to here, you know, and people have used, and you know, all the way through, right? So yeah, so just remember that. Yeah, get in there and do it, girl. Yeah, I'd love to hear it. Yeah. And so, Craig, where can we find you? I know I will share your links under in the YouTube, where I'll link this to as a saved video. Is there anything you want to share as to where people could find you?
Well, CraigLyleHealer.com is my website, and that's I'm working on it all the time. I've got some really exciting stuff coming. Really excited about it. So I've got some stuff coming, some new packages that I'm doing also from your guidance, put some packages together. So it's all coming soon, but craiglylehealer.com. Then have a Facebook page that I share some stuff on. But yeah, that's probably the easiest way to get hold of me is through there. I've now got my Google Calendar all set up and whatever, so I can just pop it in there and everything's in there. So yeah, yeah, that's the easiest way to get hold of me, and I'm really looking forward to stepping into where I need to be. And you know, Stacey, you've just reminded me again why we do this. You know, and Kelly and myself, for example, and as I say, Cheryl and Mary, the same. We're all healers. But that one person, if just tonight, of the healings that I've done through the time we spent together in the Galactic Guardians group, those of us that are here, besides Kelly, and we've got you to this point where you help one person, then we're just so blessed, you know. That's what I'm here for. If you help other people, don't do it for you, do it for me. Don't want to do it for yourself, do it for me. You'll make me feel good.
All right.
No, I've done my work, which is exactly what Kelly and I are both wanting to do, is help healers and light workers to do what they've come here to do, you know, and that's our passion, is not doing the healing ourselves is a great part of it, but seeing you, my hairs are just standing up all over my body, and I just have this beautiful feeling in my heart to know that I know some way have helped you to get to this point, as all of us on this group have tonight. You know, it's just we were just so blessed, you know, we're so blessed.
Yeah, amazing. And of course, Craig is not just isolated to working with people in New Zealand. He works with people all over the world. So people can connect with him through his website and be able to, share his magic and his wisdom, because he's extremely talented in many areas. But yeah, you can check him out on his website for sure. Anyone that wants to find me, I am Kelli Hurley, Kelli, because most people misspell my name. Hurley, Hurley, energetically inspired. So you will find me on Facebook. You will find me on www.energeticallyinspired.com.au. I'm also on Google and lots of other platforms as well. If you look under Energetically Inspired, if you want to know more about Quantify, which Craig has spoken about and I have spoken about, just let me know and I can send you through a free masterclass as well. And I'm also, this is going to be moving towards, Craig, I have told him this, but me and a friend and other healers are looking at creating a space called Collective Rising. So it's for even people like yourself, Stacey. We see, you know, so many people starting out and not sure how to get seen and how to collaborate with others, and, you know, so that they can actually step into a space where they're actually getting their foot in the door and starting to be able to practice. And then it's also, again, you know, eventually we'll have online events and summits or whatever. I haven't actually got that far, but eventually have those where we're going to actually, you know, everybody invites people in, and, you know, that way you can be seen. I mean, that's how me and Craig connected, and that's actually one of the things I started with years ago, was, you know, jumping on something and sharing some knowledge, right, around my own healing experience or some sort of wisdom that I wanted to deliver, right, even if it was a 30-minute thing. So Collective Rising is something that you know, is going to be, I think, a big thing, because I feel like it's like bringing us all together. So, because we all are unique, we all share a separate piece of the puzzle to make a masterpiece, you know, and each of us can, sometimes I, you know, also see often, you know, like, you know, my clients might come to me for a while, and then there could be other people that share something unique that I can't share or I can't deliver, right? And it allows that those clients are going to be able to be, you know, to be able to access what they need and who they need in a beautiful space. So Collective Rising is about all of us rising up step by step at whatever level we are at, whether we're beginning or, you know, further along the journey, and supporting those as well. But also for all the people that are going through the collective awakening right now. And it's, you know, the earth, I channeled while, you know, the lockdown was on, that we are going through a dark night of the soul on the earth in a collective energy. That's why there was so much high amounts of stress. It was really activating the nervous system so people could see, you know, and really feel the suffering and the pain, so that, you know, and as we all know, when we go through a dark night of the soul and we're starting to shred things and start to witness what is not serving us and making us awaken to it, we got the opportunity to change it, right? So more and more people are going to actually be seeking us at whatever stage and wherever we are, people are going to be wanting you soon. So yeah, so I'm very much, you know, in support of helping that, because the quicker all of us step into it, you too, Stacey, the more that we help raise the vibration here on Earth and change humanity for our next generations and for all the people that are here now too.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Yay! All right, beautiful people. Well, I'll call it a night because I've got another call in 20 minutes. I'm getting interviewed for a summit that's got like 267,000 followers, right? So
Wow.
that's a big one,
Beautiful.
right? So I get to jump in that
Fantastic,
soon.
Well done, that's awesome,
Well,
man.
you've warmed up.
I've warmed
Yeah.
up, right? I need to have another drink of water. I've got my little glass here and run to the toilet and ground back in and yeah, ready to go.
Well, fantastic, Kelli. It was absolutely awesome. Thank you. And the other thing I just would like to mention, that if you guys do want to look at the money, value for money on that course was for me, it paid for itself in a very short space of time. It's not the thousands of dollars that you would expect to pay for something like that. You know, it was really very affordable, and that really made it easier for me. It was, for me, it's definitely been worthwhile.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
you were
Thanks,
part of my
Kelli.
lunch.
Thanks, all you guys, yeah, for being in here. Appreciate it. Really nice to see you. And until we meet again.
Yeah, very
Thanks, Sue.
inspiring. Thank you. And lovely
Nope.
to see you again too, Craig.
Yeah.
Always good. I don't know, Mary's in there somewhere. So hi, Mary.
Yeah.
Carol.
Yeah, Mary, yeah.
Can't see you. Yeah.
Right, beautiful
But
people. I know it's getting late over there for you guys because you're a few hours ahead of me. So, all right. Well, I hope you all sleep well. And it was lovely to connect with all you beautiful souls. And I will hopefully see you somewhere along, you know, in Craig's Magic or maybe in the Collective Rising one day or even in my program. If not, I'm here sending you all love for wherever you're meant to go.
Thank you
well,
so
lovely
Thanks,
meeting
Kelli.
you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Lovely.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 much.
Bye. Bye.